Have you ever looked back at a past relationship and thought, "What was I even thinking?" You ignored the red flags. You excused her behavior, and now after all the pain and regret, you finally see the truth. But let's be real. What if you could have seen it earlier? What if someone had warned you? What if someone had told you the 6 signs of a stupid woman before she ruined your life? Because here's the truth. A stupid woman isn't just a bad partner. She is a ticking time bomb. And if you don't recognize these signs early enough, you will suffer. Emotionally, mentally, even financially. So before we get into it, do yourself a favor. Subscribe to this channel and hit the like button, because this video might just save your love life. Watch till the end. Because the last sign, it's the most dangerous one of all. Sign 1. She thrives on drama. I have a question for you. Have you ever been in a relationship with a lady who required constant stimulation? I mean, she just couldn't help but start fights whenever things were going well. You initially assumed it was only a matter of emotion. Perhaps she only felt things deeply. Or perhaps she was merely expressive. However, a pattern soon became apparent to you. As soon as everything calmed down, she would start making a fuss. She had a knack for taking what you said the wrong way, making it seem like you said something offensive, and then manipulating the situation to have you apologize for something you hadn't done. After that, what takes place? Treating someone silently, the scapegoating, the emotional ups and downs that exhaust you. What you must realize, though, is that this is not the norm. I do not love this. Wow, this is very uninspired. To put it simply, this is completely foolish. Because a woman who can't rest until she has drama isn't a woman at all. And here's something else. She will never allow you to have peace if she can't even handle her own mess. Please go back in time a little bit. When you're among women, have you ever felt that you had to tread carefully so as not to anger her? Have you ever felt the need to apologize for something you didn't actually do, simply to avoid conflict?
Have you ever realized that no matter how great your relationship was,
she could always find fault with it? If so, I'm sorry to break it to you, but the woman you were with was completely ignorant. Love, according to a wise lady, is a construction rather than a destruction. A smart lady realizes that tranquility is the cornerstone of a healthy relationship. A smart lady doesn't desire fights, but a lady who is naive. Be prepared for her to make your life a living hell. And what's worse, to be honest, she has no idea that she is doing it. No big deal in her mind. To her, loving someone entails resorting to violence, shouting, and destruction. She considers a relationship to be boring if it lacks drama. But I must inquire of you this. Is it your life's mission to always quarrel about meaningless disputes? Is it worth it to you to fix a lady who refuses to accept peace on her own? Is it really worth it to you to be emotionally stressed out all the time because she won't grow up? Because here's the harsh reality. There is no way this kind of lady can ever evolve. More of who you are will be lost the longer you remain. You will feel more exhausted as a result. Maybe I'm the problem. Thoughts will creep into your mind as your self-doubt grows. However, you are not the issue. Indeed, she is. Furthermore, you will squander a great deal of time and energy attempting to rectify an issue that was never meant to be resolved unless you separate from it immediately. Sign 2. She thinks manipulation, or intelligence. Is there a lady you've dated before who could manipulate reality to her advantage? She tells fibs and causes you to question your recollection. No matter how much she's to blame, she always acts like the victim. If there's anything she did wrong, she'll make you feel bad about it. And worse than that, she believes it makes her clever. A naive lady, you see, considers manipulating others to be an art form. She considers herself powerful if she can manipulate a man's feelings. Furthermore, she has the ability to transform your life into an endless, psychological game if you give in to her. An example would be this. Her texting with another guy is caught by you. You feel offended and puzzled at first. When she asks you, "Who is this?" However, she flips the script on you instead of owning up to it. "Why are you even looking at my phone?" she asks. "Are you not trusted by me?" All of a sudden, you are the antagonist. All of a sudden, she is the one who feels the victimized. You find yourself apologizing instead of her all of a sudden. Do any of these things ring a bell? This is the behavior of a foolish woman. She manipulates reality to suit her needs. And what's even scarier, nobody even notices that it's occurring since she's so good at it. Suddenly, you find yourself feeling alienated from your own existence. Everything starts to seem questionable. You can't help but feel that you're perpetually at fault. And before you realize it, she has full power over you. But I'll share something with you. Intelligence does not define this. That is not intelligence. We are not talking about power here. Being so brave is not an option. Simply put, a lady who possesses true intelligence does not require manipulation. She can avoid using psychological manipulation. Feeling strong doesn't need her to rule a guy. Trust is the bedrock of love, and a smart woman knows this. But a lady who is naive, for her own gain, she betrays confidence. My question for you now is this. Even in your own relationship, have you ever felt the need to defend yourself all the time? Is it true that she has a way of making you feel guilty even when you didn't do anything wrong? When you sensed something wasn't right, how often did you tell yourself, maybe I'm overreacting? If that's the case, I'm sorry to break it to you, but the woman you were with was completely ignorant. The game of chess should never compare to love. The question of dominance has no place in a genuine partnership. Whoever can outplans the other will lose. Integrity, candor, and appreciation for one another are key. Furthermore, you should not waste your time with her if she is unable to provide that. So I must inquire, will you continue to participate in her antics? Or are you prepared to step down and reclaim your authority? Reason being, I can assure you of this. She will attempt to control you for the final time the second you depart from her. As if nothing has changed, she'll pretend. It will seem like she longs for your presence. Eventually, she'll confess, I know you're worth my love. However, this is par for the course. She has no feelings for you. She is quite controlling. Furthermore, the process will begin anew upon your return. Get out of there right now. It will benefit you, because no woman worth loving would ever view manipulation as an intelligent tactic. Do what I say, you are deserving of better. Sign 3, she uses love as a weapon. I have a question for you. Have you ever thought that someone was trying to hurt you via love? So it went from being a lovely gift that makes you feel secure and valued to a negotiating chip. You know, a foolish woman doesn't love without conditions. She is conditional in her affection. She makes it seem like her affection is something you have to work for, like a privilege that she may revoke at any second. It doesn't appear malicious at first. She shows her devotion in return for your kindness. She showers you with love, praise, and warmth when you make her happy. However, what happens when you let her down? Feelings of love fade away. She feels a sudden chill. She feels like talking all of a sudden. Out of nowhere, she treats you as if you don't exist. As a result, you may find yourself asking, what went wrong? In your never-ending quest to win back her devotion, you find yourself chasing after her love. However, you are unaware that she is exerting power over you. She wants you to think that her love is worth fighting for, and she's convincing you otherwise, that you risk losing her approval if you fall short. What she wants, and if you don't comply, that she will harm you if you resist her demands. When she stops loving you, it will leave you feeling hollow within. Moreover, I must inform you that this does not constitute love. Emotional blackmail is what this is. A naive lady thinks love is a commodity that can be bestowed and withdrawn like a prize. True love, though, love that lasts, has no end. True love remains even after a blunder. Love that is genuine never serves as a kind of coercion. You should never have to seek for true love. However, that is unknown to her. For her, love serves just as a means of control. Plus, you'll start to feel even more confined the longer you remain. Your self-confidence will begin to wane. A sense of worthlessness will wash over you. The belief that you must prove yourself to be good enough to earn her affection will set in. But I must inquire of you. Have you ever experienced the feeling that your efforts in a relationship were constantly inadequate? Have you ever thought that love was conditional on your doing what she wanted you to do? Have you ever wished you could have earned someone's affection instead of receiving it freely? If that's the case, I'm sorry to break it to you, but the woman you were with was completely ignorant. As a wise woman knows, love is all about being there for each other, trusting one another and being consistent. But a lady who is naive, with her love she wields power. Also, you'll waste your life attempting to succeed in an unnatural game if you don't find a way to escape. So ask yourself, is it your life's purpose to pursue love? Alternately, are you looking for a partner that will adore you no matter what, but simply for being you? Because I can guarantee you this, once you quit pursuing her, she will see that she can't control you anymore. At last, victory comes at that point. Sign 4. She cannot take responsibility. Do you have any experience with women who are unwilling to acknowledge when they are mistaken? In any situation, someone else is inevitably to blame. If she does you harm, she thinks you reacted too strongly. Given that she is dishonest, according to her, she had no choice. So what happens if she deceives? She claims you coerced her into doing it, and what's even scarier, she thinks it's true. A foolish lady, you know, is incapable of owning up to her mistakes. She is always correct in her own mind. Her goal is to make it seem like you are the one who has to apologize by distorting the facts and rewriting history. What if you attempt to confront her? She has two options: act victim or assault. Accusating her of causing you pain? Her exact words were, "You're too sensitive." You confront her about her deceit. "What gives you the willies?" she asks, attempting to make her pay for her actions. "I feel awful all the time because you do that," she adds. It won't be long until you find yourself apologizing, so that you cease questioning her altogether. We want to sow seeds of self-doubt in you. Please recall the past now. Do you remember a time when you felt like you were the one who had to apologize in every relationship? Have you ever discovered someone's dishonesty and found yourself feeling terrible instead of guilty? When you wanted to talk about how you were feeling, did someone ever tell you that you were too emotional or too dramatic? If that's the case, I'm sorry to break it to you, but the woman you were with was completely ignorant, because being strong means accepting responsibility, and a smart woman knows this better than anybody. Acknowledging her mistakes does not diminish her, but rather strengthens her. This is something a smart woman understands, but a lady who is naive, rather of admitting responsibility, she will ruin the relationship. And what's worse, forgive her as much as you want to. Why? Because she'll act as if she finally gets it while crying and pleading. She often uses phrases such as, "I was at a loss for what to do. I apologize. I love you, and that's the only reason I did it. I struggle to acknowledge when I'm mistaken," you said. You will believe her for a little period. An idea like maybe this time is different can cross your mind for a split second. But I'll be honest with you, not at all. Changing a lady who shies away from responsibilities is impossible. You can count on her to concoct an excuse every time. She has a knack for finding reasons not to do things. In order to make you feel bad, she will always find a way to make things worse. You will be transformed into a shattered shell of your former self if you do not flee from her immediately. Because I have something to tell you. If someone is unwilling to change, you should not try to change them. You shouldn't have to deal with the consequences of someone else's lack of maturity. Last but not least, saying sorry for things that weren't your fault isn't your responsibility. My question is this: how many times will you allow her to avoid responsibility before you take matters into your own hands? Simply put, when you refuse to let her control you anymore, as soon as you refuse to believe her justifications, when you finally stop blaming yourself for her faults, then, at that point, you regain control of the situation. You won't ever regret it, I promise. Sign 5. She seeks validation from everyone but you. I have a question for you. Can you remember a time when a woman prioritized the opinions of total strangers over her own feelings? No amount of affirmation or expression of love seemed to be sufficient, no matter how much you lavished upon her, because she secretly yearned for global fame more than she did for your acceptance. The love of a single guy will never satisfy a foolish woman. Whether it's from her friends, social media, or even strangers, she's always looking for approval. The worst thing is this: she has a way of making you feel inadequate. You compliment her on her beauty, she pays it just cursory attention. Were you the one to compliment her? She chooses to ignore it. Why not have another man flatter her instead? Now she's grinning. All of a sudden, she's radiant. All of a sudden, she feels extraordinary. At that point, you begin to doubt your own judgment. Why is it that she is so concerned with the opinions of others? Why is it that she pays no attention to what I say? Why am I the center of her universe while I feel like nobody cares about me? Because this is the terrible reality. Validation from others is essential for a foolish woman. If she wants to see how many likes her provocative photos will get, she posts them. She enjoys indulging in the company of other guys for the sheer pleasure of it, not because she desires you, but because she enjoys the power. She is the sort to make you envious. And I'll share something with you. A lady who feels insecure without the constant attention of others will never be content in your company. Her insatiable need for more will persist regardless of your affection, generosity, or efforts to make her feel whole. She will grow to take you for granted the more you endeavor to make her feel special. So I must inquire, when you were with that person, did they ever make you feel inadequate? Have you ever had the impression that she seemed to require other people's attention even after you offered it to her? When the lady you love looks for approval from everyone but you, have you ever felt her pain? I have something to tell you. If that's the case, she was never actually yours. Why? Because a genuine, intelligent lady knows the importance of a man's affection. But a lady who is naive, she will discard it in exchange for a few of insignificant remarks from men who are uninterested in her. Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but here it is. She was never deserving of your affection if it cannot fulfill her. When you finally separate from her, when you stop providing her with the things she enjoys but takes for granted, when you stop bolstering her ego, when it happens, she'll understand. However, by that point, the time will have passed. Sign 6. She thinks love is a game. Is that anything you've ever experienced in a relationship? She seemed to be always testing your limits. How much you could take, how much you could endure. True love isn't believed in by a foolish lady. Love, in her view, is all about dominance and manipulation, not out of any sense of self-worth, but simply because she gets a thrill out of chasing after you. Not because she's easily triggered, but because she relishes the limelight that follows a quarrel. To test your mettle, she backs away, hoping you'll chase after her. And I'll share something with you. You are already at a disadvantage the second you play her game. A foolish woman, seeks for a man who is utterly devoted to her. This woman is looking for a man who will politely request her attention. She is looking for a partner who can repeatedly demonstrate his love for her. Even when she flees, she wants her boyfriend to pursue her. Her view is that love is not about being in a committed relationship. Control is the key. Plus, she will stop respecting you the second she realizes she can manipulate you to her will. Soon, she'll begin to view you as a mere commodity. To determine your tolerance, she will begin the testing process. When you eventually give in, she'll start testing your limits. And what's worse, she is going to love it. Because tranquility isn't something a foolish lady desires. She desires anarchy. The desire for power is hers. What happens if you hand it to her? Her actions will utterly devastate you. I have a question for you now. Is that anything you've ever experienced in a relationship? Have you ever been in a relationship where you felt pressured to repeatedly show your love? Have you ever dated a lady who seemed more interested in the pursuit than in being in a committed relationship? I have something to tell you if that's the case. You were never loved by her. Because being in love should not be seen as a competition. To love is to trust. Love is all about feeling safe. Loving someone means you can relax and enjoy life without constantly worrying about how you measure up. But a lady who is naive, she has a way of making you feel inadequate no matter what you do. You will become more and more entangled in her game as time goes on. Therefore, I must tell you something immediately. The race is over the second you give up chasing. She will see she can't control you once you quit attempting to establish your value. What happens after that? No, she'll freak out. Why? Because she'll finally realize that she was the one who was always the fool. Not you. Someone truly lost something significant to her. A decent man was wasted on her. When she realized she was playing herself, she realized she had turned love into a game. Now consider this question. Is this game over for you? Because as soon as you depart, now you've won it all. In summary, in the end, it's not only relationships that foolish women ruin. These things destroy men. You feel exhausted, devastated, and doubtful after going through them. They plunder relentlessly until all is gone. Do yourself a favor and leave immediately if you see these red flags. Reason being, a dim-witted lady is unchangeable. On the other hand, you make a more informed decision. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.